Cross over to Borno again, where Tijesu Adeoye and Jesse Tafida are standing by for us. Okay, Tijesu, Jesse.
Hello.
Okay, hello, Yori. As you can see, we had a very long day
It
here
was a
in
long
Borno
day.
State. Tell us, how did voting go in your starting from when voting commenced at
Yeah.
your polling unit, the polling unit you visited?
Okay, we went out early in the morning. As early as 7 o'clock, we left our homes. We went out as journalists, as watchdog of the society. We need to bring people up to speed with series of happenings of the election process. So I first visited Alhaji Kiari 004 polling unit at Goinge 3, and it's in the Maiduguri Metropolitan Council. And I saw a lot of people trekking. And earlier on, when I was speaking with Yori, I told him that I saw a 71-year-old woman trekking about a kilometer to the place. I was so excited to speak with her. She said it is her own right, and she went out with her friends. And I saw her grandson, and luckily it was his first time to vote, and he was so much excited. So
yeah, I felt that excitement in the air here in Borno State. Surprisingly, a state that you expect that, with the security reports and everything, but you could see the enthusiasm with everyone coming out in full force to come out and vote. I was at the Lamisula ward earlier at about 7:30, and you could already see the activity, everybody coming out, even if you can't walk. I saw some people actually using bicycles,
of course,
to get to their wards and polling units, and actually waiting on the INEC officials, to come and then begin the process. But the voting time, what was it like in your polling unit? Because I know some polling units did not actually start on time. I visited some that started at 8:30
exactly,
on the dot, and some was just too late.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
How was it at your polling
at
unit?
Abakari 004 ward, voting started at accreditation, and voting started at exactly 8:30. I was surprised. I was even asking the voters there what was their previous experience like. They said they've never had of such before, starting accreditation and voting at the exact time given by INEC.
Yeah.
It was just exciting to everyone at that polling unit. So talk to us about your other polling units visited.
Well, for me, I was at a polling unit earlier, and like I said, they started at 8:30 on the dot, and they said there you have a lot of directors, actually big people, and they were actually on the queue, waiting for the election duty officers to actually set up. They were right there, they are queued up, ready to start. And then I visited the polling unit of Senator Kashim Shettima. Surprisingly, they didn't. He got there, and the polling unit agents were not on ground.
So I heard.
Two hours, into the process, where every other polling unit, even on that street, had begun the process, and he was not. His polling unit was not active until about 2 hours. That was at from some few minutes to 11, a.m. before it could start. But surprisingly, he was in high spirit. He was even appealing, to the voters at that polling unit to exercise patience, and see the good in the situation and not just discard everything. And, whatever outcome comes from the process, they should, take it in good faith. But how do you take the accreditation process? What did you see about the beavers? Like, what did it function well in your polling
Yeah,
unit?
it did. Like 4 to 5 polling units, the beavers did well. They had no hitches, and because of that, you could see that the accreditation process was so fast, and people started voting early. Now let's talk security. Borno State. When people hear of Borno State, insecurity, insurgency. Yeah. Now, what was your experience? Your first time coming to the state?
It was surprisingly calm for me. When I got in yesterday, I was actually asking the driver that brought us from the airport, like, are you really sure that election is going to hold here? Because it's surprisingly calm. And it was like, everybody's just looking forward to this election.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants this to get behind them. Everybody just looking forward to the outcome. And, it was quite exciting. And actually I couldn't even sleep. I think I slept at about 3 a.m. in the morning because I was actually looking, checking online, looking at what people were up to, the excitement was just, you could feel it. Everybody was anxious.
And today?
Today, yes, everything turned out, yes, even there were some kind of glitches here and there, but everything still went as planned in Borno State. Surprisingly, a lot of people, when it comes to when you hear Borno State and Maiduguri, you just think.
And that is why I had a chat with the State Commissioner of Police yesterday, and he told TVC News that about over 13,000 security men have been deployed across the state.
Yes, and you could visibly see that.
The little hitch we had was Goza. Yes, this evening we got a report that Boko Haram insurgents attacked and disrupted election process. Some voters got wounded, but they're responding to treatment. And what is very interesting is the military men, they swung into action and they repelled the attack. And immediately, people are resilient, so people continued voting, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Let's talk about the youth turnout. What was it like for you at your polling unit?
Yeah, youth turnout was massive. Quite massive, and most of them are voting for the very first time. They are very excited to go and vote for the people of their choice. They said this is their right as a citizen.
INEC registered a high number of youth registration.
Yes, but we also had a little number of middle-age gap and some elderly people. What about your polling units?
From the polling units I visited, it was more crowded with a lot of aged people. I barely could see young people, and I was looking for that, the clouds you saw online. I was expecting to see that in the polling units. But luckily you said you saw that. I didn't see that. I saw more of the aged people coming out, and I just saw the little ones, but they were out playing. They were not,
So all we can say from Borno State, election went well.
Very, very well.
Peaceful. And my colleague here had a little hit with some of the security agents.
Overzealous. Trying to control the crowd.
Yes.
And she got tased, actually.
She got tased, but she's fine now. She's okay.
Very, very well.
Yes.
Tijesu got tased? She actually got tased accidentally?
Yes, I got
Tijesu.
tased.
Yes, she did.
Well, that's a first. So sorry about that. But you're looking good now, thankfully.
They didn't intentionally do that because the policeman actually apologized after doing that. So just to control the crowd, because of, when they get to see some politicians, they swamp around them and, it's uncontrollable, and they just try. The process is supposed to be, serene and, go, but everybody was all over him, and, they were trying to control everything and ensure that, law and order is maintained. So it's not really on their part. You just give it to them.
And we were calm because when they realized that we are journalists, they had to apologize. And we said, it's okay, it's fine. It's one of those things as a journalist,
Wow. Well, thank you very much, guys. Next time I see you, Tijesu, I'll ask what it feels like to be tased, even though it was accidental, the life of a working journalist. Thank you very much, guys. I don't want to experience it. I think that's what you just said. Okay, thank you both. Tijesu and Jesse there.